Howdy, everyone. So, my name is Jonathan, and for this first episode of How to Get a PhD, we're going to look at some published dissertations and break it down so we don't have to read hundreds of pages to get the message. So, first off, we want to congratulate Dr. Dhamyal from Carnegie Mellon University. Thank you for contributing this new knowledge for the rest of us. So, today, we're going to be talking about a gap in artificial intelligence. We have AI that can transcribe what you say with great accuracy, like Siri or ChatGPT. And then we also have programs that can even translate what you say into a different language, let's say Google Translate or Apple's new AirPods. But we're still not quite at the point where AI can understand how you say something, the undertones of regret or sarcasm, for example. Now, this is where voice intelligence comes in. AI that can decode the psychology, emotion, and personality hidden within the words. Now, the fundamental concept of this dissertation is based on the fact that voice is a psychological biometric, that communication isn't just data transferred, but it's also a biological loop. First off, there's encoding. When you speak, your internal status, whether you're stressed out, tired, or filled with energy, physically alters the tension in your vocal cords and the pressures of the air from your lungs. Second, there's decoding. This is when the listener brain analyzes these acoustic microsignals to judge how you're feeling. The goal of the dissertation is to mathematically model this decoder so we can apply it to AI and use it in the future. So, why don't we have this yet? Why is Alexa emotionally deaf? And the problem, it lies into training data. For years, we trained AI on acted speech. Actors who've been hired to sit in a studio and pretend to be angry. But the thesis identifies this as a critical flaw. Active emotion is voluntary, while natural emotion is not. When you're truly scared, your autonomous nervous system kicks in. Your heart races, your throat tightens, and actors, no matter how skilled, can't replicate these physiological changes perfectly. And since we train AI on faulty data, it fails in this regard in the real world. Now, we can see this in the data. When researchers analyzed specific phenoms, the building blocks of sounds, they were able to find the cues for natural emotions. Actors tended to overemphasize vowels to sound dramatic, while real circumstances utilized more fricatives like the F or S sound, along with nasal sounds such as M or N. This is likely because fricatives require fine motor control of the tongue, which degrades when we're emotional. Imagine the phrase, that is enough. An actor might stretch the vowels to make it sound big, booming, and dramatic, such as, that is enough. While a person who is genuinely furious will say it more sharp, curt, and with a hint of a hiss, that is enough. The actor gives you vowels, while the real emotion displays tension, aka fricatives. Now, a proposed way to help machines learn to how to hear this difference is to implement a model called CLAP, Contrastive Language Audio Pre-training. Old models use simple metrics such as audio A equals happy. CLAP, on the other side, would use natural language supervision, which would take an audio clip and match it not only to a word, but also to a description, such as person A is speaking with a shaky, nervous voice. This technique aligns the audio embedding, the map of the sound, with the text embedding, the meaning of the description. And this will allow AI to understand the context rather than just categories. Taking it a step further, the thesis introduces SELM. This is when we plug voice processing directly into LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini. SELM uses two encoders, one for text and one for audio. It feeds both of them into a LLM, large language model, and it allows the system to perform generative tasks. So, instead of just classifying a sound, you can ask the model to describe the speaker state. And because the LLM heard the audio through the encoder, it can give you a detailed answer like, the speaker sounds urgent and frustrated, instead of giving you a generic, the speaker sounds angry. But emotion isn't just what you feel, it's also how much. And to map this, they use a hierarchical model. At the top level, we have discrete categories such as joy, sadness. But underneath that, there's the continuous dimensions, and this is what's measured, such as the balance. Is it positive? Is it negative? The arousal. Is it high or is it low energy? And then the measure of dominance. Is the speaker in control? By training the AI to learn both the category and the dimensions simultaneously, the model became more accurate in regards to both. Now, switching from temporary emotions to something more permanent, we're going to go into personality. Now, the standard psychological framework, the Big Five, is used here. Ocean, which is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Now, these traits are more stable over a lifetime, which increases the difficulty in detecting them in a short voice clip. And that's where the biggest hurdle in the research was finding good data. Because it's a little unreasonable to ask a million people to take a personality test and then also ask them to record their voice. To work around this, the researchers used YouTube interviews, public speaking recordings, in order to get a true representation of how personality might manifest itself in everyday speech instead of relying on those lab recordings. So, what does personality sound like? As it turns out, it sort of sounds like physics. See, we were able to correlate pitch and loudness with extroversion. We were able to correlate jitters, the micro fluctuations in pitch, to indicate excitement or instability. Shimmers, which are the micro fluctuations in loudness and breathiness, we're able to correlate with neuroticism due to vocal tensions. And these were just a couple of the examples of the measurable physical characteristics of your personality on your vocal anatomy. When we tested this, we end up finding out that deep learning isn't always the best answer. Sometimes it's better to have a structured approach. The research developed a knowledge based model by hard coding formulas based on these physical features, the jitters, the shimmers, the formats, and the results showed that the physics based results outperform deep learning models in detecting traits like neuroticism and openness, proving that knowing the science of voice is sometimes better than just having a whole bunch of data. Finally, the dissertation wanted to reevaluate the theory of ocean. Remember, this is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, etc., based on new technology we have today. So they fed a generic LLM thousands of personality adjectives, and with zero instructions about psychology, they asked the LLM to cluster the adjectives together. The results? Five groups. The ocean cluster was rediscovered, reaffirming that these personality traits are rooted in the very structure of human language. In the end, voice intelligence is about closing the loop between human expression and machine understanding. By shifting from acted to natural data, using descriptive prompts, and combining physics with deep learning, we're building AI that can finally hear and understand the human emotion behind the voice. And this is important because as we go more and more into the future, we're using AI more to evaluate mental health, to personalize education where students are learning and interacting with the computer more and more, and even for secure authentication. So, the future of AI is not just creating a personality for it, but for it to understand ours. I hope you enjoyed this episode of How to Get a PhD. Like and subscribe for more episodes, and I hope you have a blessed day. Take care, y'all.